All right, I'll call to order the Ames Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting of Wednesday, August 26th, 2020. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, holding an in-person meeting is impractical, and thus the meeting is being held by electronic means. The Zoning Board of Adjustment is a quasi-judicial board created by the City of Ames. The board's purpose is to decide on...
Otherwise, just press pound.
Okay. The board's purpose is to decide on applications for home occupation permits, special use permits, exceptions and variances to the zoning ordinance, applications for conditional use permits in the floodplain, requests for reasonable accommodations because of a handicap, and appeals of the decision of the zoning enforcement officer. As a board of the city, we welcome all testimony. We make our decisions based on the facts and evidence as allowed under city code and presented in an open meeting. Testimony before the board must be given under oath or affirmation. If the proceedings become lengthy, we may ask that testimony be focused on new facts and evidence not already presented. We ask that you push the raise hand button on Zoom if you wish to speak. A staff member will identify you to the board before unmuting you, and before testimony, please state your full name and spell your last name and state your address. Please address your remarks to the board when testifying, and we ask that the proceedings be orderly. The Zoning Board of Adjustment is an independent volunteer board of citizens. We are not part of the city administration. We are served in our efforts by Vicki Fielmeyer, Assistant City Attorney, Eloise Sahlstrom, City Planner, and Jacque Higgins, Recording Secretary. The order of proceedings for each application will be as follows. First, an oral statement summarizing the issues and procedural steps will be presented by the staff. Second, testimony and evidence will be presented by the applicant. Third, testimony may be heard from any members of the audience who wish to speak in support of or opposition to the appeal. Next, the board will give the applicant and city staff an opportunity to present concluding summaries and arguments, and finally the board will discuss the issues and evidence and come to a decision. Okay, so the first item on the agenda tonight is approval of the minutes of June 24th and July 22nd. Are there any additions or changes to the minutes? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion? I think we need to unmute someone.
I am unmuted.
Okay.
I would like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
I'll second. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. I assume it's okay to have a motion on both minutes at once, so they're both passed. And then the next item on the agenda is public hearing on application for a special use permit for Northridge Village Garden Pavilion located at 3305 Stang Avenue. Eloise?
Yes, I'll just jump right into this. So this property is zoned FSRL, and in that zoning district, it's required to have a special use permit for the type of facility they have, which is a senior living facility. So anytime there's any changes to the property, they need to come back and get a special use permit. So those of you who have been on the board for a while might remember back in 2019, they came before you for this very same request to take a half an acre of property, vacant ground, and to also and to make it into a garden, and then to include a garden pavilion on the land. And so the details of how that use, they would be partnering with ISU. And so they were moving ahead with this. They received their special use permit on May 22nd, 2019. But because they ran into some issues with the gas line, the gas company required a larger setback than anybody was aware. And so because of the gas company requirements, they're coming back to you to get a new special use permit. And also because during that time period, their existing special use permit lapsed. It was good for 1 year, and because they could not start construction, it lapsed. So there's 2 reasons, but they're coming back to you now for this special use permit. So the pavilion that they're wishing to build is 600 square feet. It has changed a little bit from what was initially proposed a year ago. So I'm going to share my screen and show you the previous plan showed the pavilion with the lengthways with 30 feet parallel to the drive. This is the drive that connects between, the property extends all the way
I don't
from,
think we can see your screen yet. Sorry.
oh, I'm sorry. I clicked on it, but I didn't do share screen. Just a second. Sorry. Here we go. So the property extends all the way between Stang Road and George Washington Carver, and it's connected by this drive. And within the property, there's several buildings, about 3 buildings now. The most recent building is over here. This is the memory care building. And this is a cul-de-sac that extends up into the property, but you are not able to access the drive through the property from this cul-de-sac. So the original pavilion as proposed was shown here and parallel to this drive. This, the gas line is over here. So what they're proposing now is this, can you see the new layout? Did that show?
No.
Oh. Okay, I'll stop sharing and reshare. All right, this is the new orientation for the pavilion. So it's turned 90 degrees from what it was proposed a year ago. So here you can see the gas line. So it's much further from the gas line. But it's still connected in to the sidewalk system with the sidewalk. It's been slightly reduced down. It really won't have utilities in the pavilion. It will have an electrical outlet, and there will be a hose tap. But as far as anything else, there's not utilities within the building. This shows you the edge of the memory care building that was just completed this spring. Consequently, they have changed the elevation. So this is the elevation, original elevation that they proposed, and they actually had ceiling fans in it and some lighting and so forth, and lighting on the building. They're not doing any of that electrical work at this point. And the embellishment to this side, which was, you know, the part facing the drive was embellished, but now it's turned. So the new elevation, let's see if pull that plan right back up. Oh, I guess I don't have that. I'm sorry, I don't have the elevation handy.
That's okay.
Okay, it's in your packet. So the part that's facing the drive has been embellished to continue to match the existing buildings in the area with some stone facade and so forth. So I'm not going to go through all the findings of fact. They're there in your report. And we do have the applicant available to answer any questions. It's staff's recommendation that you approve the request, that you approve alternative 1, which is the zoning board of adjustment can approve this request for a special use permit to allow the construction of a half-acre garden and 600 square foot pavilion within the Northridge Village Continuum of Care campus in the FSRM. I'm sorry, I misspoke before I said RL. It's FSRM zoning district at 3305 Stang Road. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff right now for Eloise? Okay. Then it is time for the applicant, if they're on, to speak to their request, if they'd like to add anything to Eloise's report.
All right, we have Jordan, who is requesting to talk. Go ahead, Jordan.
Hello, I'm not sure if you guys can hear me or not, but I'm Jordan Anderson. My address is 2114 West Sheridan Street, Olathe, Kansas. My last name is spelled Anderson, Anderson.
Thanks.
I just
Care to tell the truth?
I do. I am. I will.
Thank you.
All of the above. I really don't have a whole lot else to add to what Eloise said. Really, it's pretty straightforward. We had to move the building just slightly in order to keep it outside of the easement that the gas line was, the gas company was comfortable with. Technically, I'm not sure that they can actually require us to be this far back, but we decided that it wasn't worth the fight, essentially. So we decided to move the building, and we're coming back to you guys to ask for that. So yeah, that's really all I have, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for the applicant? I'm not hearing any, but if we have any, we will let you know after the public hearing. Thanks so much. Okay, now it's time for the public hearing. Are there any members of the public on the line who wish to speak?
The only attendees are representing the applicant.
Okay, great. Then we will close the public hearing. Any further questions, or we could entertain a motion?
Move alternative number 1.
I would like to second.
Okay, so that's a motion by Bowers, a second by Amar. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
I have one question for staff.
Okay.
Did we place any specific, requirements on the last permit?
That's a very good question. We did have a condition that they would record any easements that needed to be recorded on the property before they got any more building occupancy permits, any C of O's. And it was because the pavilion itself would not need a C of O because it's not going to be occupied per se, but knowing that the memory care building was going to be coming online, that condition was put in place. And so Public Works tells me that they have all the easements that they need.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? We'll have that roll call vote then.
J-Paul?
Aye.
Bowers?
Aye.
Shoneman?
Aye.
Lamar?
Aye.
All right, and the motion is declared approved. Any person desiring to appeal this decision to a court of record may do so within 30 days of the filing of the decision. That is the last item on the agenda. Is there anything else anybody wishes to address? Okay.
I don't have anything.
All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. J-Paul.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone.